Thank you. The Mexican president, Mr. Obrador, said he denied that there were parts of his country under control of cartels. Do you agree with him?
I do not,
Okay.
Mr.
You agree with
Ranking Member.
Secretary Blinken that there are parts of Mexico run by drug cartels?
I do.
Okay. Do you consider Mexico a reliable partner in this fight regarding fentanyl and illegal immigration?
Ranking Member Graham, we are working with Mexico on the fight against fentanyl.
Are they a reliable partner?
We have brought great cases together, and we are looking to enhance our cooperation.
So if we do the things, I'm going to work with Senator Durbin to give you more money at the border to interdict. And let's see how that works. I hope it works. Do you think you have a plan in place that will severely reduce the fentanyl problem in America?
Ranking Member Graham, I think there are two primary elements to the fight against fentanyl. One is the supply, which we are very, very focused on, and I want to touch upon that in a moment. And the second, of course, is the issue of demand, and we need to address both elements of that. We need to also.
I hate to interrupt, but a lot of these poisonings are people are buying what they think to be Percocet or Percodan, and it's got fentanyl over it.
Absolutely.
They're not demanding fentanyl. They're getting fentanyl-laced drugs that are phony drugs.
Ranking Member Graham, absolutely. And I have heard you speak about the fact that we need severe penalties for the individuals who traffic in fentanyl, and I agree with you.
Okay.
And if I may?
Yes, go ahead.
In addition to increasing our work with Mexico, we also have to address the fact that precursor chemicals, as well as the equipment used to manufacture synthetic, dangerous, fatal narcotics, are originating from China.
Okay, that's a good point. Right now, drug cartels are labeled as transnational criminal organizations. Are you aware of that under
Yes,
U.S.
I am.
law? A foreign terrorist organization designation would mean any group, country that supplies material support to an FTO would be subject to American jurisdiction. Do you support labeling these drug cartels as FTOs under U.S. law?
Ranking Member Graham, I have heard you speak of this issue as well. I share your view 100% that these are ruthless, vicious peddlers.
Well, do you support
of
my
death.
efforts to make them FTOs?
This is a decision that rests in the jurisdiction
fair.
of the Department of State, and it is a difficult question as to where the line between criminality, however vicious, and terrorism is drawn, and I'd be happy.
When you kill 70,000 Americans, you have crossed the line. But, you know, that's not your bailiwick. Let's go to your area. You said on April 2022, in a House hearing, you were asked directly, do we have operational control of the southern border right now? Yes or no? You said, yes, we do. Later in that hearing, you said the border was, in fact, not open. About a week or two ago, March 15th, the Border Patrol Chief, Mr. Ortiz, I think, said, when asked, does DHS has operational control of our entire border, he said, no, sir. Do we or don't we?
I'd like to be able to answer that question fully.
Just
Ranking Member
take your time,
Graham,
but not too long, because I don't have much time.
let me be clear. Number one, we are intensely focused on securing the border. Number two, we are equally focused on enforcing our laws to achieve that result. Number three, the Border Patrol agents and all the personnel of the Department of Homeland Security are doing heroic work in that regard. With respect to the definition of operational control, I do not use the definition that appears in the Secure Fence Act. And the Secure Fence Act provides statutorily that operational control is defined as preventing all unlawful entries into the United States. By that definition, no administration has ever had operational control. The way I define it is maximizing the resources that we have to deliver the most effective results, and we are indeed doing that. We have, for the first time since 2011, increased the number of Border Patrol agents
Is
that we
it
are
working?
funded.
Is everything you doing working? Is any of it working to stop the poisoning of America or the reduction in a meaningful way of the historic illegal immigration problem? Right now today, do you believe you have a plan that's working?
Ranking Member Graham, I must separate the number of individuals arriving at our border who are claiming relief from the issue of fentanyl that is coming through our ports of entry. That is too often conflated.
I agree. I
We
agree.
are fundamentally, we are working within a system that is absolutely broken, and there is unanimity
Whose
about
problem
that.
is that? Who broke this system that you're trying to fix? I mean,
Congressman,
was it Trump? Is it Trump's problem?
Ranking Member Graham, this is our collective problem,
You've been,
and
well,
we need to
wait a minute
collectively.
now. You've been DHS secretary, and I, honest to God, do like you. I think you're a very good man. On your watch, Mr. Secretary, we've gone from the lowest illegal crossings in December 2020 to all-time highs with over 2 million last fiscal year. On your watch, fentanyl is coming in at a pace we've never seen. More Americans are dying. On your watch, more terrorists are coming into the country on the watch list than any time we've been measuring these things. So I'm trying to get some appreciation from you that things are not going well. Your own Border Patrol chief said we don't have operational control of the border, and I don't think it's a definitional problem. I think he's just being really honest with us. So I would like to work with you where I can. You need more money for interdiction, I will work with Senator Durbin to get it to you. But we play around with the problems. We don't address them. Mayor Adams went to the border from New York. He's not exactly a right-wing guy. He said this is a national crisis, and he said basically it's a disaster. Everybody that goes has a different view, Democrats and Republicans. So what I would like to just get from you is some recognition of where we're at, and I don't think where we're going is going to get us to the promised land. You know, I asked you back in the last time we were here to give yourself a grade. You gave yourself an A for effort. How would you grade yourself for outcome since we last met?
Ranking Member Graham, I certainly appreciate and understand the gravity of the challenge that we are facing. It is a very serious challenge. I look forward to working with you with respect to the funding for this department, as well as the hope that we can work together to fix the immigration
I've
system.
got an idea for you. I want you just to entertain it. My time's about up. The credible fear standard is the screening standard when somebody applies for asylum. Is that correct?
Yes, it is.
Okay. What's the final adjudication standard?
Ranking Member Graham, the credible fear standard is the initial threshold, and it is set by statute as a substantial likelihood of fear of persecution.
So here's my offer. What's the final adjudication standard?
Forgive me, a significant possibility.
Okay.
Persecution.
Okay, here's the final adjudication standard. Reasonable possibility of suffering persecution on account of race, religion, nationality, membership in a particular social group or political opinion. That's the final adjudication standard. What percentage of people who pass the initial screening standard are given asylum using the second standard?
Ranking Member Graham, if I understand your question correctly, what is the, let's say, average, because it changes by...
If you have 100 passing the screening test of critical fear, how many of them are granted asylum through the adjudication process, percentage-wise?
It varies according to country of origin.
I can tell you it's averaging 10%. So 90% of the people that pass the credible fear standard never make it. Here's a proposal. Why don't we make the adjudication standard the initial screening standard? I'm willing to change the law with my Democratic friends. One or two things is happening. You're denying 90% of people with a legitimate claim, which I don't believe, or when you look at their claim, It's not, it's an economic problem. It doesn't meet the statutory definition. If you want to stop asylum seeking, change the standard, because once they get here, they never leave. So I'm willing to work with you. Are you willing to, final question, would you entertain changing the credible fear standard as a screening standard to the final adjudication standard?
Ranking Member Graham, I would welcome the opportunity to work with you to reform.
Great.
What's clearly a broken
Thank you.
immigration system.
That's a good place to start.